Hello, Frog fans. Welcome to Postgame Beers Podcast. We are the Lupton Drinking Club. I'm your host tonight, Kyle Malloy at YellMK, joined by my co-host Jacob Sailors at JD Sailors. We've got our producer, the crazy Ray Cartwright. He's here in the house, ready to bring you content. We also have friend of the program, Matt Perk, joined us many times, just ready to bring the heat tonight. Fellas, I'm very excited about tonight because guess what? We get to talk about a undefeated week for Frog Ball USA.
In a while.
But Jacob, I have a question for you. When we're watching TCU batting and the team they're playing is on defense, and the pitcher decides to throw it over to first base to try to grab somebody out.
Yeah, they're not going to get away with that without punishment.
What do you think about that when they throw it over to first base? How do you feel about that play in general?
Boring.
That's right. And that's why we're thrilled to bring you the newest addition to Hell's Half Acre is a boring shirt by none other than friend of the TCU baseball program, Lane Sarlos. Goodness gracious. I'm just jacked up because this shirt actually exists and you can buy it.
I really want this shirt.
Hell's Half Acre / Lupton Drinking Club.
Hell's Half Acre SG.com.
In honor of, daughter of Kirk. Lane is she's there every game. She's there at home. She's there away. And so I'm watching at home multiple games with, Baylor this weekend with my daughter, who's friends with Lane. And the whole time we can hear Lane just yelling boring the entire game.
It's the only fan you heard all weekend.
Dude, I think it's more fun whenever you hear opposing fans on the road start doing it sarcastically because she's so in their head.
Dude, it's so funny. So I think you go to Lupton, you hear it, and it's like, all right, it's become like a staple, But then when you hear it on TV on the road, that's what kills me, man. I love it.
So like you're saying, Ray, it's funny to me because it's a 10-year-old girl yelling boring. And then the opposing fans, it's a guy like me, like a 40-year-old guy, he's getting triggered real bad.
Boring.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But yeah, head on over to the website, hellshalfacresg.com/Lupton Drinking Club. They got all the classics there, all the new arrivals from the season. Go check those out if you haven't. Use our promo code. Help us out a little bit. We would appreciate it. All right. Back
fellas,
to MK.
We're back. No Tuesday night game. It was an enjoyable week. How are we feeling?
I think it's awesome that Perk gets to join us after a TCU sweep.
I think that's two
second
in a row
this year. Second one. Last appearance was after the Houston sweep.
Yep.
I picked my weekends perfectly.
Hey, so I said last week we should have had you on. So just real quick, I want to get your thoughts on K-State. Just real brief summary. I said 2 out of 3. Normally that's good, but my takeaway was they put themselves in a situation where that wasn't good enough, and that sucks to say. But what was your takeaway from K-State?
You want my live stuff or do you want my off-air stuff?
The off-air.
Talk about Pete Hughes and go for it, man.
So I'm really glad that we won the series because it would look very bad on me if Pete Hughes came into Lupton and won a series based on how much disdain I have for him as a program. I will say this. It's weird weekends when you have doubleheaders. You know what I mean? Especially a preemptive one.
I hated to
preemptive
see that
doubleheader.
on Friday.
You know what I mean? Where you jump
Mhm.
straight into, hey, let's play the Friday night game, great, and then when you roll into Saturday, like we're going to get 2 in because we're not playing the next day. You know what I mean? And so it kind of totally flips your mindset when you're going into 2 games for one day. So it is, like I said, we won 2 out of 3. Until this weekend, we were like, well, are we in the tournament? Are we not in the tournament? But after this weekend's results, we're good to go. But
Almost. We'll get there.
We're almost there. We're almost
we'll
there.
talk about it. We'll talk.
Yeah,
we're
we're
almost
almost there. But glad to see it. Interesting to like I said, always have those double headers. Those are weird. You just want to split.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. You just want to split on double header days. I mean, anyone that goes out there and says, hey, we want both. No.
Right. But my thing was like, unless you put yourself in this gigantic hole,
Didn't help
you
us.
gotta find a way.
Needed 3 games to win. And more than likely, based on what we were seeing, if we would have played on Sunday, we probably would have won that 3rd game.
Right.
So that's exactly what the guys said, and I disagreed with that, or I didn't believe them. Why is that? Why does it matter if you wait a day? Does that feel better for the team?
So you got to think about it. You're asking, especially, I mean, I know you're asking your position players to play. What was it? They played 18 innings that day.
Yeah.
So you're asking them to play 9 versus 18 innings. You don't know how guys, it's hard to win 2 games in a doubleheader, regardless of who you're playing opponent wise. I would say just having that extended time on the field tends to always like lean towards both teams are going to have a game where they're hot. Like you're not going to be like cold the whole day. And so that usually opens it up to where both teams will get a win. It's rare to lose, multiple ones on the day. It does happen, but it has to be some like freak. You have to like lose a game on like a freaky play and then just get blown out. But typically you wouldn't see a team just roll through it.
Especially if you win the first game, there's a natural human element of letdown. And then K-State, who is not in all that much better position than we are, we got to salvage a game here. Like we got to give it everything.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a natural you take like a deep breath and you're like, all right, we're good. We won the series. Right. Like it's we're now in the gravy, which we're not in the gravy situation, but that's just the natural reaction. It's like, hey, we won the series.
If you're looking at just that weekend, it's like mission accomplished, right?
Right.
But you kind of went into that thinking you're at home. K-State hadn't won a game there in ever.
It's numb.
You got to get that sweep, but well, that just put a little more pressure to go on the road to Waco, right? Because the way we thought about it was sweep at home, win 2 out of 3 on the road.
I mean, if I get the choice between sweeps, I'd much rather sweep Baylor every single time we play.
Oh, for sure. But the way TCU's played on the road this year, it's hard to look at that road series where Baylor's played pretty decent at home and say, hey, that's a sweep right there, baby.
Hey, apparently the Brazos River has power in it to where we got guys hitting homers. Like, I don't know what happened, but apparently the Brazos has got a little bit extra in there.
I think the Brazos was a little flooded. It looked like it was flowing pretty fast there behind the stadium.
Yeah,
this weekend. I don't know. Maybe something was blowing in off of it.
Sorry, Ray. I was fact checking my fun fact, which is that was our first series win of the year on the road.
That's good and bad, right?
Sounds
That's
mostly
disheartening.
bad.
Very, very, very disheartening.
Good, you got the road series win. MK's
cracking himself up. He's muted, but he's cracking himself up.
Before we spoil too much,
sweep on the road, but that feels bad when you say it's the first series win. That's crazy.
We're in May. It is the month of May.
That's why it was hard to say, like, oh, okay, we'll go on the road and get a sweep when we hadn't even won a series yet.
After Cincinnati, I feel like all bets are off.
Bro,
I mean,
God,
we went on that thinking, hey, 2 out of 3 is easy. Sweep is in the question, is in the consideration, and the opposite happened. So, anyway, y'all want to talk about some fun stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's get into game 1 on Friday night. Frogs went south to take on Baylor, and you know what? They won 7-1. It actually seems easy if you look at the score, but that was not the case. This was not a blowout until the 9th inning. They led only 2-1 through 8 innings. Peyton Tolley, another masterful performance for him. He went 6 1/3 innings, gave up just one unearned run, I might add, on 3 hits. And you know what? The offense just struggled for the most part until that last inning. So in the 9th, we had Silva, Maxwell, Bowen. They all walked, and then BORES was hit by pitch. But the savior of the night was Jack Arthur. He hit that grand slam. So before we talk about Tolley, 5 hits on the night for the Frogs. What were they struggling with on Friday night?
Part.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dude, I didn't want to say it.
If we're gonna call it how we see it.
No.
Everything. I mean, it was just another, what we've come to know as a TCU baseball game, that it's going to be a Peyton Tolley start where we're probably going to try to win the game 1-0.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, it reminds me a lot of what was that, 2016 for Finnegan, where he was like 0-8 and he had like a sub-3 ERA. Like where every game it was like, so I mean, it's just what
I want to say it was 2015, but
2015,
yeah,
it's like that's what we see with Peyton's games. Like you don't see a high end run production, even though he's not giving up a ton of runs. And so, I mean, like I said, I wasn't. I know when I was watching that game too, it's like, the score says 7-1. We won that game 2-1 is what we won that game. Like you can't count on a 9th inning crooked number every time.
Right. MK shouted out Jack Arthur. We should also mention Sam Myers was 2 for 3 with a game tying home run. And that's the thing too. Like TCU actually fell behind in this game. So it wasn't like we got an early run and just parked the bus for Tolley. We had to come back in this one.
Ray, what were you saying?
Oh, it was going to be a dumb comment. But I was saying, I think they were just waiting for Jack Arthur to pull his bat out of the rock.
Yeah. I mean, that was great to see, from a freshman, just to knock something through. And then it was kind of this big sigh of relief, for Frog fans to be like, okay, we got this. But we're going to talk about other starting pitching, on other games. But I want to ask this question right now. Is Tolley the only starter that we can trust right now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whenever you have TBA lined up as the rest of your weekend, you can, I think you can safely say Tolley is the only starter.
It's like, to me, there's a ton of talent when you look at the staff as a whole. You just don't know how each individual is going to perform on an individual day. Like it's kind of we hope this guy's going to be good today, but it may be a rough day for him. And then somebody you might think, oh, geez, he hasn't been very good last couple of times. He comes in, pitched 4 scoreless.
So, Ray, you mentioned earlier, like we're in May now. It's the first time we've had an away series win. And so it's May, and we still don't have a Saturday, Sunday like starter that we know is going to be there. It's wild.
Yeah, I think you usually have a good idea, but
Lewis is going to be in there.
It seems to be fluid,
right? Hey, due to time constraints, let's move on.
Okay. Saturday game 2. Zach Morris's first start since the USC game. That was on March 3rd. That's when he departed after getting hit with a line drive in the first inning. We've seen Zach a ton the rest of the season, but he's come in as a reliever for short periods of time. Unfortunately, a pretty abysmal start back. He
kind of got hit with some line drives.
Oh,
no!
There we go.
That's tough, man. Yeah, boo.
Boo.
Yeah.
6 runs.
That's really tough.
We have Perk on, and you're gonna
doesn't even need to be said.
That out? Oh man, I'm sorry, Perk.
So Zach gives up 6 runs in the first 2 innings. That included 5 hits on 2 with 2 home runs. This guy Apodaca, whatever his name is. He had half the cycle before they brought in Klecker, in the second inning. And so this game changed though when Cole Klecker came in the second. He pitched just masterfully. Then you had Zach Coyer come in and relieve him.
Yep.
These guys, 9 innings straight. They gave up 3 hits total. Just an awesome rest of the game for those two. And I tweeted this out, kind of towards the end of the game. I'm like, win the game for these guys. Like these two, just work so hard to come in there and do their job. Like this is their win. So let's win it for them. But that allowed the TCU offense to really poke and prod kind of the rest of the game and just get a run here, get 3 runs there, get a run here. And they worked back. So in extra innings, Frogs scored, they were tied 6-6 after 9. Chatinier, Myers, Maxwell, Boyers, they all hit in the 11th inning, grabbed 3 runs, and that allowed Ben Abel to kind of get his second save of the weekend just in consecutive days. Just an awesome way to kind of win the series, but also, there was a lot of, I want to say disappointment or maybe negativity online, about the Frogs kind of giving up 6 runs in the first 2 innings, but it really turned over when they won that game.
Why can't we get that from the start? The pitching that we got after the 2 innings. Why can't we get that from the start?
Yeah.
That's kind of this is a good example of what I was talking about. How, do you trust Zach Morris? Do you trust Cole Klecker? And in a sense, yes, but on any particular day, you never really know. Like Zach Morris, for all we know, he could have been awesome in this day. And then, Cole Klecker could have got hit around, we never really know what we're going to get whenever we bring a guy into pitch. But Cole Klecker was awesome.
Zach Morris has been awesome out of the pen his last couple of times.
That's my point.
Yep.
So the 3, 4, 5 hitters on Friday, 0 for 9. On Saturday, they went 11 for 17.
Is that good?
It's better, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, who wants to gush about Logan Maxwell for a second?
Dude, Logan Maxwell was 5 for 6 with he got his first home run. Finally.
Were you all surprised that was his first home run? I could have sworn that he had one more.
That was a twofer. His first home run, and then what was it? Johnson for Baylor hit his first home run. That was at the point I was like, I give up on this game.
I will say,
dude's hitting home runs for the first time. It's like, all right, that's what are we doing?
How did you guys honestly feel?
Hasn't had a home run this year, but if you recall all the way back to the USC Globe Life Series, where he flew out to the deepest part of Globe Life, which is like 410. So
still an out, Ray. Still an out.
Oh, that's a college home run.
Just saying.
At 6 to 1,
if you hit it off the Green Monster,
feel?
it's still only in play.
Yeah, but that's like 220 feet.
We need that. We need that at Lupton. Can we get?
I could hit one off the Green Monster.
Okay. Easy
now.
I said off of it. I didn't say I was clearing it.
Now.
Byrne goes 3 for 5. Luke went 3 for 6. Chatinier in the 9th hole went 2 for 4. I mean, just all around great offensive performance.
Do you think Luke Boyers was hot because it was May the 4th be with you?
Is there a connection between Luke and Star Wars?
I mean,
go
Luke Skywalker.
Oh God!
So
I hate it. I hate it.
This is a stretch.
Did you guys feel good about this game? Did you guys feel good about this game at 6 to 1?
No.
I did.
This felt like a 12 to 1 game.
See, I was kicked back, knowing my Frogs were going to come back.
Klecker and Collier, man, can't say enough.
This is a rare day when
Collier.
This is a rare day when I didn't have a lot of other stuff going on. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'll just keep paying attention. And it worked out in my favor.
I tuned out. I would have watched, but I had a derby party to get to. Now, once I got to the party, it was on. So it was like 20 of us in the living room, sipping a mint julep, cheering on the Frogs, and that was pretty fun.
As soon as I saw Curtis hit a ball, launch angle of 435 feet in the air, the game went out. I was like, we're gonna win this game. Like straight up.
Yeah,
when Curtis hit that home run, I was like, this stuff is too freaky for it to happen between Silva and Curtis getting both those homers. I was like, I've seen this story before. Like this team's gonna win the game.
Can I interest you in a Peyton Chatinier triple?
I would have taken a lot more of them throughout the year, but yeah. I mean, it's just. But the question comes back to it, like MK alluded to it. we got to get somebody to start the game and not give up 6 runs.
All right, so that's a good transition.
Yeah.
Matt, we have, with Klecker and Collier, they give up 3 hits after the second inning. All right, so Klecker comes in, and for the next 9 innings, they give up 3 total hits. Who's a better starter for a weekend?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess based
No,
on
I need an answer.
like what I'm saying is, I guess we're gonna roll with Klecker, but give him an opener, have somebody throw the first inning, and then roll out of the bullpen because I will say this: watching them throw like that was obviously they became locked in, and there is something to be said. Like when you come in a game and it's like already opened up, like it's been blown out, like you're not really worried about. You're just trying to like just get outs. That's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to get outs, and that minimum account is built. So he comes in, gets a couple strikes, then gets a couple more, and then just kind of builds from there. So
kind of low leverage, right?
Right. It's easy. It's easy to come in that game because it's like we're already down 5 runs.
Yeah, it's not going to be my fault.
Right. If we lose the game, like I came into it when we were losing, so it's. I mean, you kind of have that sense, but I mean, I don't know. It's.
But that okay. I'm going to push back. So we've seen that now with Zach Morris. We've seen it with Cole. We've seen it with Zach Collier he's never started. He's kind of been a reliever. But Cademan Parker has had that issue.
Braden Sloan,
Luis Rodriguez has had that issue. So what's that mindset change? Where you have to feel like, hey, I'm coming in and I don't have that pressure on me.
Yeah.
Do you think I don't know this? You think it's because of what they watch on Friday with Tolley? And they have to go. They feel they have to go out and match it.
Yes, that can play into it, but you have to have a certain kind of group for that. Like my group, when we had it was like me, Winkler, and Maxwell. Like that was our mindset. As we were trying to show each other up. So everybody was trying to outdo the other ones. That was the whole purpose of us pitching on the weekends, which it worked. But you got to have the right group for that. This is not that group because they don't. I'm afraid to say this, but I think it's true. We have a lot of good pitchers. We do not have a lot of great pitchers. Mm-hmm. And that's the issue that we're running into. We don't have great pitchers top to bottom.
And that can explain why on any given day they can look awesome. And then it's like, all right, you got the start next week. And then they don't make it out of the first inning.
Yeah. And it's not to say that that's like a bad thing. Like, there's a lot of teams that wish they had a lot of good pitchers.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like at the same time, it's like we don't have 3 guys that you can roll out there when we get into now what we're moving into the part of the season where you got to have 3 guys that you can run out there against anybody and win a game. And we're not there. And so it's going to be tough. But I mean, if they get hot, it can happen. I mean, I've seen guys before it kind of struggle throughout the year and then all of a sudden they catch it and run with it. But I think that's where we're at right now.
All right, let's quickly knock out Sunday. So we don't run out of time.
Bella said, somehow in this game, I had 0 doubt we were going to have extra innings and no doubt we would win. So shout out to that because I don't think the rest of us felt that confident.
Before we move to Sunday real quick, Matt, you talked about, I think in just an opener. I mean, I remember on previous pods bringing that up, but, why not? Why not throw Hunter Hodges for an inning, maybe 2, and then you roll out Zach Collier or you roll out Cole Klecker, and then they're starting with the middle to bottom of the lineup and then turning it over.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this is a great weekend to try it.
Yeah.
This would be the weekend to try it.
Good point.
To see if you can find it.
But we got to get past Baylor on Sunday.
Yes.
What would happen on Sunday? Frogs looking for the sweep. The team took the note from Baylor's offense on Saturday and started the day off right. So
they ate their Wheaties.
That's right. 6 runs in the first inning. We had 3 2-run home runs. I'm not sure the last time I've seen that from Maxwell, Boyers, and Bowen. They just, buckled up from there, and it was kind of a slow grind. I think I was really hoping for a run roll at that point because I'm like, hey, the boys are on point. Let's go. Let's get out of Waco soon. That was not the case. So they only scored 2 runs after that until the 9th inning. And, the Bears made things interesting in the, what was that? The 7th inning. It was 8-5 at that point. TCU over Baylor. So it's like, okay, well, it's not quite a blowout. It's a little closer than we were expecting. But Carson Bowen decided to call the game in the ninth inning, hit that single and 2 runs scored. And that was too much for Baylor to really come back from. Just some things to point out. Ben Abelt, that was his 3rd save in 3 days. That's the first time it's happened in a long time for the Frogs. 11 hits on offense, so good offensively. And then there's some guys that, obviously stepped up from an offensive standpoint. So anyway, where do we want to go?
Was that his 7th save on the season or the 7th save in conference play?
Did I say that? Well, I meant
no. I know you said 3. I'm just saying, if it's conference play, it's different. But if it's his 7th save on the season and he got 3 of them in this weekend, like
that's on the season, dog.
That's on the season. So he 50%, almost 50% increased his save percentage, like saves.
Yeah. He has 4 in conference now.
One of them was West Whittington.
So he had 1
kind of save.
That's a disturbing stat. I'm sorry, guys.
I did send this out to the group chat. I said, "Hey, is Ben the only guy that they trust in late innings?" Right?
Yes.
Yes. And okay, and the answer is yes. Okay.
Not Coyer?
I mean, we're gonna transition. It happened last year, but we're gonna transition as soon as we hit tournament play. He is going to pitch an aggressive amount.
It's kind of like Garrett Wright did last year.
Yeah, it's just he's gonna be out there pretty much every opportunity. If there's a day in between, he's guaranteed to throw. He probably will throw back to back multiple days.
Yeah,
it's just the truth.
What does an aggressive amount mean?
I would say that in a regional standpoint, he will probably, if we play 4 games in a regional, he will pitch in 3 of them for sure. In a conference tournament standpoint, I can see him pitching pretty much every single day. Potentially.
Yeah, I could see that. So my takeaway from this, I had two takeaways. One, it was good to see the offense come out and jump on a Sunday starter. It's what I would like to have seen in Game 3 against K-State. So that was good. I didn't really like that they parked the bus after that, but I think some of those relievers that Baylor brought in kind of gave us fits with their arm angles and kind of their movement and things like that. So, they already had 8 runs by the time they started to get slowed down. So is that right? Hold on. Yeah. By the time they started to get slowed down, they had 8 runs. So I'm not going to be too picky about that. Lewis, he hasn't been all that great the last few weeks. He has started shaky, and then it kind of got worse, and then he's pulled from the game. This one started shaky and got better. Mm-hmm. So I really liked seeing that because we're not doing anything without Luis Rodriguez. To me, he's the key. Totally, you know what you're going to get from him, but it's not enough. Lewis has got to give him some support. If you're looking at a regional situation, it's a little early to talk about this, but man, depending on where we end up, if we do get in, it's going to be like College Station. You're going to need Tully against A&M. You're going to have to throw Lewis in that 2-3 game.
Well, heck, you don't even have to say a regional situation. You've got to win a couple of games at the Big 12 tournament.
Sure. Yeah, probably. And depending on how the next couple of weeks go.
Multiple starters there.
Who's the second starter in the Big 12 tournament? Question for y'all.
Luis Rodriguez has got to be.
All right.
Yeah, it's got to be. They moved him to Sunday, maybe to kind of give him a little lower pressure situation. And
Cademan really struggled on Sunday. He gave up 3 runs in 1 1/3.
Yeah, but he inherited a bad situation from Storm.
Okay.
He came in bases loaded, nobody out. Or was it? It was bases loaded, nobody, or bases loaded, 1 out. He came in.
Which is the opposite of walking into that situation I'm going to try not to give up any runs here. And they all scored.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Now, I'm not saying he was on top of his game or anything, but
that's the pitching is such it's a fickle thing. It really is. And it's we watched it. What was that? Was that Saturday's game? Bases loaded, nobody out. We don't score a run. dude gets 3 weak pop-ups and the strikeouts in the inning, like, and it's like, and immediately they score runs the next inning. It's like that kind of stuff happens. And then you have other guys come in and a guy comes in and just the floodgates show off. So it's very fickle. So, but yeah, regionals. So we got hit.
Few things that happened they were consistent with over the weekend. Number one, they kept the same frog script jerseys for 3 games. I thought that was interesting. All right. So I'd be shocked if they changed that up and
we're leaning into the jersey bit again.
We're gonna.
But however, here, listen up.
The calendars flipped to May.
The second thing is they kept the same lineup for the most part. There's a couple changes, but Silva, for example, was he led off. Didn't have a great weekend. He went 2-13 on the weekend, had a couple walks, but it's not what you hope for a leadoff guy. So
hit a home run though, dog.
But dude, he went okay. He was okay on Friday and Saturday. He went 0 for 5 on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was spread out. I mean, let's see, what was he on? So he's 1 for 2 with 2 walks on Friday. I'll take that all day. Saturday he was okay. He was 1 for 6 on Saturday. So don't love that. And then
the offense as a whole.
I'm not trying to point him out specifically in terms of like he was terrible. I'm just saying
him being the top of the lineup. Yeah,
he's the leadoff guy, right? So how do we? I don't know but they kept him in the leadoff spot the entire weekend, right? For 3 games in a row, they didn't change that top of the lineup. So I'm wondering, do we see changes for New Mexico or do we see changes for West Virginia? I feel like they can't figure out that top of the lineup where somebody is succeeding consistently, up there. And these guys are bouncing back and then doing well. Carson Bowen, great weekend. Sam Myers, great weekend.
Yep.
Chatnier had a great weekend. He's in the ninth.
Logan Maxwell was awesome.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it's like that one spot. It's got the heebie-jeebies.
Well, with Chase Brunson out, I mean, I don't know if you have another candidate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've liked his game there, Silva. He's been fine. I mean, if he gets on, he can steal bases. He's a great base runner. So I don't mind that.
As a open-ended question, do we think he's played his way into a 3rd year at TCU?
Yeah, that might be an off-season question. I don't know.
I mean, it's a decent question to ask because his defense is fantastic, right?
Yeah.
He has 1 home run until this weekend. 1.
We were talking about a 1st-round draft pick at this time last year.
Correct.
And
now he's a 2nd or a 3rd round.
Correct.
I mean, the money's still going to be very, very good.
So you think the potential is still there enough for that to take place regardless?
Unless he falls out of the top 10 rounds.
Top 10 rounds?
He won't fall out of the top 10. He'll get taken.
He'll fall out of the top 5.
Yeah. Probably a 3 to 5 round at this point.
Does the conversation change if his brother actually shows up on campus?
No.
I think we're looking at a significant money decrease. There is a big, he's going to get, it's going to be a big gap between what was projected at the beginning of the year, what he could have been at money wise to where I think he lands now.
Do you think that changes if he stuck around, Matt? Is that what you're saying? Or
no? I could take this knowing all that. No, because he loses his leverage right now.
Dude, he's only a sophomore.
I know his leverage is he can go back.
Well, he can go back after next year. He can play 4 years.
He would have 0 leverage.
Well, everyone has the same leverage, right? When you turn 21, you can always go back for another year. It doesn't. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's as a sophomore, you'll have the most leverage possible, but him as a junior wouldn't change anything. I mean, and I say this, the reason why I say this, because look at Wyatt Langford. The dude's 22 years old or whatever, 21 years old, and he's gone straight to the big league. So you can stay an extra year in college, and if you're in the right situation, you play your way. So that part of is dead, as far as trying to get out. I'm just, I know I got us off topic, but I just think that it's an interesting.
Right. I could look at his teammate, Judd Fabian, whatever his first name is, stayed the extra year, and it actually hurt him more.
I'm just saying, you can't go into you can't expect a lot of money hitting, 240 and 2 homers.
But still elite defense, and
Defense
Big
doesn't get you
leagues
to the big leagues,
value.
Ray. I love you, Ray.
Yeah,
I love you, Ray, so much,
know,
but defense does not get you to the big leagues. I'm sorry.
at shortstop, it
doesn't.
does.
It
At
does not.
shortstop, too.
It does
No,
not.
it doesn't.
It does not.
It doesn't.
It
Look
doesn't.
at Mason Wynn for the Cardinals.
I love you, Ray, but I'm just telling you right now, it's not going to get him to the big leagues. If he doesn't hit his body weight, they're not going to get him a chance.
No, that's. Hey, MK, we gotta move on. We gotta.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. No, so I have a freaking work meeting at 9 p.m. So I have a hard stop.
Proud of you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't have a ton left in terms of, I would enjoy watching Ray and Matt just battle it out.
I can debate him on.
Well, do you want to hear?
I know more about the
MLB
MLB draft than Perk does.
I do. We do need an update on where we stand in the Big 12 in terms of the Big 12 tournament and also postseason. So go for it, Jacob.
All right. What is the highest you guys think TCU could finish in the conference?
Second.
No, that's not true.
Fifth.
I would say 6th or 7th.
Right. So where they stand right now, let me pull that back up.
Because they're currently 8th. Before the weekend, they were 11th out of 13, and they bumped up 3 spots, which is a massive jump, right? That's great. But, there's only one conference series left.
Well, before we talk about
Tech.
Before we talk about how far they can rise, are they in the Big 12 tournament? Well, almost. So sweeping Baylor, that pretty much locks. Well, after this past weekend, that Houston went 0-2. BYU went. I think they've lost 9 in a row. So Houston and BYU are locks, absolute locks for the tournament. Baylor sits at 9-15
to be out of the tournament, right?
Well, yeah, to miss the tournament is what. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So TCU sits at 13-14. Baylor's at 9-15. So if I'm doing my math right, the magic number is at 2. We either need to win 2 games or Baylor needs to lose 2 games or any combination of.
But they swept Baylor, so even if they lost all 3 and Baylor won all 3, they still have the head-to-head.
Well, if TCU lost their last 3 games and Baylor finishes, 14-16, then they'd be ahead of us in the standings.
They have 11 wins? I thought they had 9.
No, they have 9. But they have 6 games left.
Oh, 6 games left. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's why I was confused.
Exactly. Yeah, the unbalanced schedule makes this really hard.
We're playing New Mexico State, and they're playing 2 conference series. That's
exactly.
Right.
So they can technically catch us if we were to lose 2 out of 3 to West Virginia and then they swept or something like that. But let's just say we're in the Big 12 tournament, barring a complete meltdown, right? So at 13-14, there's a just big gaggle in the middle. So I did the scenarios. TCU can actually finish 3rd in the conference.
Dude, what?
Yeah, the only reason that they couldn't finish 2nd is because they don't have tiebreakers over Kansas and Texas.
God bless.
Yeah,
Friday night
I know.
in Kansas.
Just win a couple more games. And
how about Cincinnati? Cincinnati's the one I'm like.
That one hurts. That one hurts.
We win a couple of those games, and we're talking about hosting regionals.
Well,
we lost 5 of our first.
That's a different
games.
conversation because
if we just split, we just split.
So the good news for TCU is they sit 28th in RPI, but what's going to keep them out of making the tournament in a lot of projections right now is where they sit in the standings. So we need to pass some teams. Unfortunately, we only have 3 games to do that. We're going to probably have to sweep West Virginia.
Okay.
All right. Well, in my scenario of reaching 3rd, we absolutely have to sweep West Virginia. So here's what you need down the stretch in these last couple of weeks. Oklahoma State's got to go 0-6.
Hey, they're off to a good start against. They didn't look very good against Texas.
I believe.
So they play Texas Tech.
Oh God. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
okay,
that's over.
Out.
That's out. So 4th it is.
They're 3.
Then they play.
So garbage.
Then they play Houston.
Oh God.
Yeah. 4th is.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, the fighting Houston Cougars are fighting for their coach's life.
That's right.
They're not going to fight hard enough, unfortunately.
So that would put us at 1 game ahead of Oklahoma State. You need K-State to go 2-4.
That's easy. P. Hughes sucks.
Now,
happen.
Now you need a specific 2 and 4. You need them to take 2 or 3 from West Virginia. And then let's see, K-State. And then you need BYU to sweep them.
We're just
Nope.
coming up with
Nope.
ridiculous
Not at
scenarios.
all. All right.
Okay,
So
so
we're down
third.
So now we're down to 5th. I was right.
Third's
So
out.
we're at 5th.
Yeah,
Third
third's
is
up
out.
high in the sky.
Remember, you need all these things to happen. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So 5th is more likely. I'm closer.
11th is
Well,
more likely.
So hold on, I'm not done. I got 3 more.
We have a
things
better
here.
chance of missing the Big 12 tournament than getting third in the conference.
I was gonna say, how many of these scenarios involve BYU playing anyone? Because if that's
All right,
the
all right,
case,
all right.
just go ahead and wipe it.
So the teams that are eliminated, they need to get hot.
Oh,
we need a lot of help from them.
I know you guys aren't going to make the tournament or a regional, but we
Yeah.
need you to play for
Have
some
some
pride.
pride in your
You play
jersey.
Play
Some
for your
pride.
school. Play for the seniors, baby.
Dude, we really need some Cougar pride these next couple of weeks.
We'll get you
in
guys some
Austin and
caffeine up to
BYU.
Provo. Let's get this
All
going.
right, you need Cincinnati to go 1-5. They play BYU.
Cougars, baby.
Come on.
And then OU can sweep Cincinnati.
That can
There
happen.
we
That
go.
can happen. That can happen.
That can happen. That
It's
can
a
happen.
real team. They're playing a real team.
So hey, you know what? There's your cheering guide. Maybe I'll post this on Twitter. It's like,
If
I've
you
already
could post
forgotten it because
every
it's so
single
ridiculous.
game. Every game, what do we need to cheer for?
hey,
for
do
the
you
Big
remember
12?
a couple years ago when we won the conference because a very specific sequence of
I
games
remember
happened?
that. They
It was
finished
like we need Texas to win 2, but not 3.
They finished like 15-9 and tied for 3.
4-way tie for first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's great.
that is hilarious.
All right. Well, the good news is if we get into the tournament, we're going to play one of the, probably in the top half of the standings, but we throw totally against them and then let's just roll from there, right? Anyway.
Do we go to Arkansas or do we go to College Station?
Tennessee.
Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, some of the publications that are sending out this week's projections still have us out. So we still have a little work to do, but I love our RPI sitting at 28. I don't know if a team that has a 28 RPI is going to get left out.
Honestly, the only reason that we've been left out is because it's been so bad so far, but no one's paying attention to the last 2 series, right?
Well, and they look at the standings and we're in 12th.
Exactly. Exactly. So
we're helping ourselves a little.
I mean,
The
what
West
was
Virginia
six?
series, dude. The West Virginia series could really make or break us for the postseason.
Honestly,
was-
they could they go 0-3 against New Mexico and still make the tournament? Because
That would suck, dude. That would kill the
That would
I know
kill
it
the
killed
argument.
RPI.
I know it killed the RPI. It's not going to happen. I'm saying if you sweep West Virginia,
Yeah.
then you're
That would help. the
Good job.
RPI.
And you get
you're
quad one
500
back.
You're 500 in conference.
Yep.
That changes everything.
Yeah.
Is it New Mexico or New Mexico State? I don't
New
know.
Mexico
New
State.
Mexico
All right.
State.
Respect
Where's,
our rivals.
Aggies.
Jacob.
So that would be
The
that's
Aggies.
3 quad 4 games.
This is
Where's
Jerry
Reed
Kill's team.
Spinrath playing? Is he at New
Um,
Mexico State? Or is he a Lobo?
Jerry
Might have
Kill
been
got
a Lobo.
a tattoo when they won a bowl game. Respect the name.
I wonder if he
the-
still has a scar. Did he get it over the scar he got from getting hit in the head by an SMU football player?
God. Okay, we're bouncing to different sports at this point. Fellas, what a weekend. The Frogs go 3-0. This is
We
a
did it.
fun sweep. I mean, it's been a while since we swept. The last time was Houston in conference. And before that, we were talking about a 13-0 baseball team, and they were never going to lose again. So we know stuff happens and things change throughout the season, but it's awesome to see them playing well. The offense supporting the pitchers, who are having a good year, and
the
guys
pitcher
turning it on,
supporting the offense.
and vice versa, right? It bounced. Hey, if you're having an off day, then I'm going to have an on day. So let's have fun. Frogs host New Mexico State this weekend. It's Mom's Day on Sunday. Bring your mom out for Mother's Day. That's the one thing she wants, right? To go watch the Frogs play New Mexico State.
She would love nothing more than seeing TBA take on New Mexico State.
Final thoughts, Jacob, before you got to go to a work call.
Yeah, so there's a little confusion out there that TCU has 4 conference games remaining because they see Baylor on the schedule. That is a non-conference game that'll most likely get canceled. So yes, TCU only has
will
3
it get
conference games.
canceled?
I don't think it will.
It
We'll
should
see.
get canceled.
The NCAA put out a statement this week warning coaches not to cancel midweek games.
That sucks.
Don't do it, Kirk.
Oh,
Don't do
okay.
it. Ray, what you
Thanks.
got? Ray, what you got before you head out?
I've got some sheep to go count. I am getting up at 1 a.m. every morning is tough on you, boy.
All right. Enjoy your
Sleepy.
power nap.
Have fun.
Perk, thanks for joining us. What you got before we head out?
Ray, we got to talk about defense versus offense, how it gets you to the big leagues.
Dude, if you look at these shortstops, you're
All right,
thinking of like
dude.
Bobby Witt Jr.
That'll do it for
Okay.
post-game beers. Go, as always,
Dude,
go Frogs.
no.
It's movie night on Saturday night after the game. Stick around after the 4 p.m. start. There's a movie probably playing at Lupton. We'll see
hope
you.
it doesn't
Go
rain.
Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Perk, you know I'm right